Hi, everybody. I'm bringing you in behind the scenes of my house at the moment. So we did just move in less than a month ago. This was a huge gut job of a reno when we bought this house. As you can see, it's still a work in progress. There's no trim on the window up there. I don't have a closet or wardrobe yet, so I just have clothes on the rolling rack and underneath the bed for now. And you can see everything I'm trying to pack for my upcoming trip, which is very soon. It's currently Wednesday. I'm leaving on Sunday. So that's just kind of spread out all over the bed. But we're going to do a packing video anyways and show you what I've got planned for this upcoming trip. So let's start with some outfits. All right, so this time around, I am actually doing a checked bag. I wanted to make sure I had enough space to bring some stuff back for some family, but it gives me the luxury of I'm going to have a different set of mini ears for every outfit this trip. This is the first time I've ever had enough to do this and plan the outfits accordingly. So the first one, this is my first pair that I got as a gift from my sister for Tower of Terror. So this is the Tower of Terror outfit. So this dress I found at a secondhand store. It's a little dark for Rapunzel with the darker purple, but I did get these ears on my last trip, and this has got to be my favorite design of a princess ear I've seen so far. Typically, I find them a little bland, so it was nice to see some really nice design here. And I found that the yellow on this dress kind of reminded me of the floating lanterns in Tangled. So that is my Rapunzel Disneybound. So this is my Mary Poppins Disneybound. This one I did for the first time on my last trip, and I really love this outfit. I don't have a set of ears yet for this one. Maybe this trip I can find something, but in the meantime, since it will be Christmas while I'm down there, I don't often get an opportunity to use the Christmas mini ears, so here we go. Next, we've got classic Winnie the Pooh. I absolutely adore these ears with the little beat on them. I also don't mind that they're a little bit smaller than the mini ears. I know the big ears can be pretty obtrusive when you're, watching shows and blocking people's views, so I usually take them off for those. But these ones are nice and small and compact. I'm doing a new variation on my Sorcerer Mickey this time. Again, super nice ears. I got these a couple trips ago. My parents picked them up for me. Last time I wore this with a wraparound dress. This time I'm sticking with shorts and a tank top. And then, of course, I have the rope to be the cinch in the middle. And last one here, I'm doing classic Minnie Mouse. At some point, I would love to pick up the black and white mini ears and get a matching skirt to do a black and white Minnie Mouse. But I've worn this almost every trip since I've started Disney bounding. Such a classic. And this is the first pair of ears I ever purchased for myself, which was on a trip just last year. And now it's already an obsession. Now we get to the non-outfit related stuff. So I've used these on my last trip. You've probably seen packing cubes before. These have an extra zipper on them, so they actually compress your clothes. So they're compression cubes. I highly recommend them. They work kind of like a vacuum seal bag, but you don't need to have the vacuum available. It is quite ridiculous what I've managed to fit in these. So a really good way to save space in your luggage without having to worry about the vacuum attachment. Power is important. So I had a huge battery pack on my last trip. I did a lot of research before grabbing this one. Once I've used it on a trip and I see how it goes, I'll let you know if it's worth the value. But I spent a lot of time figuring out the size and weight of a bunch of different battery packs. This one seemed to be the smallest and lightest that I could find. It was reasonably priced. And the other thing that I love is that A, it does fast charging, and B, the cables are actually already built into it. So it has both cables, so the USB-C as well as the Apple Products charger. So we'll see how well this actually lasts while we're in the parks. But between a phone and, for me, a camera, it's really important to have a battery pack with me. Backpacks. When you're in the park, having a mini backpack, super important. I'm still debating on which ones I'm going to bring. I don't know if I'm going to bring two this time. Of course, there's the classic Loungefly. This is my favorite. This is from the 50th anniversary. One note that if you've had a Loungefly before, there is zero organization in these bags. So you kind of just drop everything into the big void. So what my parents picked up for me, they actually just went to Disneyland Paris. So you can see here, Disneyland Paris. And this is actually a Loungefly organizer. So it fits into your Loungefly. It's got different storage compartments. The really nice thing about this is that if you're bringing multiple Loungefly bags for your trip, you don't have to repack every day. You can just pop this out, pop it into the next bag for the next day, and you can start matching them all to your outfits. So obviously you need a pretty big suitcase if that's the way you're going or you need to drive down. But if you are someone who has a Loungefly for every day of a week, I highly recommend getting one of these organizers. The backpack I will likely end up taking. I got this on my last trip. I love that this has, I don't know if you've seen them before, but it actually has little rubber bands here and they're meant for your mini ears. So it nicely stores your mini ears when you're on a ride so you can take it off, or during the show so you're not blocking other people's view. There's great storage in here. And this works particularly well for me when I have the camera because I can actually, with it on my back, grab and put the camera back into these little side pouches without having to take it off. So it makes it really easy for having that hands-free grab when you don't have a second person that can help you out with things and you need to go to the washroom where you're grabbing a drink or some food. Surprisingly inconvenient to not have a second person to help with that kind of stuff. So this bag I found came in really handy for that. It does also have the strap for over your carry-on if you have a carry-on. I am not taking a carry-on. Instead, I tend to go the backpack route. I did make sure and always make sure that your backpack or whatever you're bringing for a personal item meets the airline restrictions. They are getting really strict with having kind of metal boxes with 0 give that you have to put it into so you don't get charged. Got this at the outlet store on one of my last trips, and I brought a measuring tape with me to the outlet store to make sure it would hit the requirements that I needed. So I'm going to be bringing this as my personal item on the plane and then have the checked bag there. Weather-wise, you never know what you're going to get. I'm looking at the weather now, especially with the hurricane going by. It seems to be changing dramatically from day to day. I do have a super lightweight umbrella. I would only recommend an umbrella if it's going to be a light rain for a short period of time during the day. If you are looking at a day in the rain, do not use an umbrella. It is really hard to navigate around the parks without hitting other people. It doesn't keep you very dry. It's really hard to manage. If it is a rainy day, raincoat, go for a raincoat. It's so easy to flip it on and off. You know, usually a cast member will give you a bag that you can put it in when it's wet. So when you go inside the building that you're not tripping all over the place. It's way more convenient to do a raincoat if it is going to be a rainy day. This is more for getting to and from the airport if I need, or if it just happens to be maybe going down to Disney Springs for the, an evening or something like that, then an umbrella makes sense. But in general, raincoat is the way to go. I do have one small bag that I'm bringing. This is a Walt Disney World bag. This is super lightweight. It wouldn't fit a whole lot, but great if I want to spend just a light evening in Disney Springs and I don't want to carry everything with me. So I will probably have this in my main backpack with me on the plane, and then I'll have the other mini backpack in my suitcase for when I get there and I'm going to the parks. Make sure you bring a charger. I recommend something with at least 2 charging ports. The reality is we have a lot of devices between battery packs, cell phones, e-readers. There's lots of things that we are plugging in all the time. So making sure that you have enough battery and enough cables, ideally quick charge cables if your devices are compatible with that. Highly recommend getting those things. The other new one I have here, and this is specific to me because I plan to do quite a bit of filming while I'm there, is I bought a tiny little 2 terabyte hard drive. So this is a solid state drive. I want to make sure that this is going to be hardy if I'm going to be traveling with it. But there's a lot of things that I want to take footage of when I'm in the parks, and my phone or my camera card fill up real quick. So having something lightweight that I can keep in my bag, I could offload while I'm, say, having dinner and then film an evening performance or something like that. That's kind of crucial. So I am bringing my magic band with me. This is the only one I have. We got a little Mickey there. It's got Cinderella's castle on the other side. The reality is this isn't particularly helpful for this trip. I may end up using it just to get into the parks and then stick it in my bag for the day. I don't typically do lightning lane, so I don't need it for any of those skip the line features. I won't be able to charge food to it because I'm not staying on a Disney resort. And so the reality is getting in and out of the parks, it's great. It's just as convenient to use my actual physical pass in that case. But there is something kind of just nice about having the magic band and scanning it in. So I'm bringing it along just in case. The other thing I'm doing this trip is I'm bringing some snacks with me. So I'm trying to go on a budget because we fit in this last minute trip, and realistically, that was not the responsible thing to do. So I'm going to do some pre-packing of foods. Because my suitcase is mostly meant for bringing souvenirs home, I can bring some stuff with me that I can travel with. And then I can use that while I'm there. And then obviously I will have the space after I've eaten it on the way home. So having a good reusable bag, I prefer doing reusable snack bags rather than disposable for obvious reasons. This one's nice and sturdy. It can stand up while you're loading it, which is convenient. Surprisingly more helpful than you would think. And then it does have a pretty robust locking system, so it's very unlikely to kind of open up in my bag and have cashews all over my backpack. So there's a few different snacks I'm bringing to kind of tide me through the day. My other goal this trip is to eat all new foods. So of course there will be some snack exceptions of the popcorn bucket. I will have a popcorn bucket for those popcorn refills, which is such a great deal when you want to snack on a budget at Disney. But my goal is to try eating at quick service places I've never been to or ordering menu items that I've never had before. So if you have recommendations of what I should try, if you want me to just try something that you've been curious about, if you have a favorite you want to recommend, let me know because I'm going to kind of branch out there. Obviously, the Food and Wine Festival is still going to be going. So at Epcot, it's really easy to try new things. At the other parks, it's a little bit harder. But there's definitely a variety of things that I've never tried before. So I'm going to try and stick to those items this trip. And the last thing is, of course, I'm bringing Perry. We're going to take some new Where's Perry photos. We're going to be bringing Where's Perry Wednesdays back. So if you follow me on social media at Continue the Magic on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, we do Where's Perry Wednesdays where we take a photo and you have to try and locate Perry the Platypus in the photo. So he's coming with me so that we can get some more of those ready to go. So with that, I think I'm just about ready. So leaving really soon, I do not feel prepared. The house is still chaos, but I can fix that when I get back. And in the meantime, I think it was time for a Disney escape. So thanks for joining me on my packing adventure, and I'll see you at the parks.